The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Mr. Speaker, I wonder.
Order.
I wonder if I can go over here, Mr. Speaker.
Order. I'm sure the order.
Mr. Speaker, I'm in your hands as to where I can speak from.
Order. I'd ask members to be reasonable. There is difficulty with the microphones in that quarter of the House. The member can speak from any seat at all, and I'd ask members to be reasonable about that. If the member relocates to a seat that's reasonably convenient, let's see if we can get the sound system working properly. The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Order. The Honourable Rodney Hyde.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The ACT Party is both shocked and appalled to find itself supporting a government that has covertly signed up to the UN's Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Mr. Speaker, the Declaration asserts that Maori have rights and privileges not enjoyed by other New Zealanders. The Declaration is the very antithesis of ACT's policy of one law for all New Zealanders. It's the antithesis of the policy that we should have one law regardless of a person's religion, their race, the colour of their skin, their ethnicity, their culture, or indeed their degree of indigeneity. The Declaration is divisive, and it is a further step for New Zealand down a path of a divided nation. The Declaration, Mr. Speaker, clearly sets New Zealand into two rather than brings New Zealand together as one. Mr. Speaker, the UN Declaration sets us up to enable foreigners from the UN to come to New Zealand to pontificate and to criticise New Zealand's race relations, our policies, our laws and our processes. For these and other reasons, Prime Minister Helen Clark refused to ratify. The Honourable Parakura Haramia at the time said the Declaration is incompatible with New Zealand's laws and democratic processes, and that it ignores reality and will be difficult to implement. Helen Clark and Parakura Haramia were both right. I'm very disappointed that the Prime Minister John Key has covertly foisted the Declaration on New Zealand, and I consider, Mr. Speaker, the statement that signing this Declaration has no practical effect, I consider that to be naive in the extreme. I'm very disappointed that the Prime Minister has failed to honour our no surprises policy set out in the ACT National Confidence and Supply Agreement.
Ordered. The honourable member has had the time, the additional time that I order. It may have escaped honourable member's attention, but I am on my feet, and I gave members a fair indication. I intended to interpret the leave granted by the House, and the member has had the extra minute, just over the extra minute of time to make his statement in response to the ministerial statement.
Point of order.
Point of order, the Honourable Darren Hughes.
Speaker, just 2 points I'd like to raise with you. One is that an assurance that Mr Hyde's time wasn't truncated by his musical chairs arrangement.
I can assure the Honourable Member I allowed the extra time.
And there was a lot of interjection for the member. He wasn't speaking from his normal
I was very
space. I'm prepared to seek leave seek leave for an additional 2 minutes to be given to Mr Hyde to make his
Leave is sought for an additional 2 minutes to be granted to the member. Is there any objection to that course of action? There is objection. Is any order? Order. Is any other member speaking? Order. Order. If no other member is speaking to the ministerial statement, the minister, if should he wish to take it, has. Does Rahui Katne wish to speak? Rahui Katne.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. This